The galaxy is burning. Brother fights brother, and treason splits the Imperium of Man. This is the Age of Darkness. Whether you're a warrior of the Legiones Astartes, an adept of the Mechanicum, or just a mere mortal in a universe of madness, you'll find a place here. Welcome to the Remembrancer's Retreat, coming to you from within the depths of the Vengeful Spirit.
Hello and welcome to the Remembrancer's Retreat. My name is Jesse, and I'm here today with Will, Caro, and Jake.
Hello. Can we take a minute to talk about that new opening?
Yeah, go for it.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And for listeners and those of you watching at home, just watching Jesse work this board here like a true sound engineer is amazing to watch.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because it has a lot of colors, but it's very professional at the same time.
It's a whole new level of professionalism that
It is.
I mean, the board, great, amazing. We've done casts with that before. Live, yeah, we've done that. But now he's got music and a voice actor in there too. Gee, where's this going, Jesse? Where's the ceiling? Is there a ceiling
almost
even?
there.
Oh, really?
I'm almost
okay.
there.
All right, let's slow down the hype.
I say
yeah.
that, but I
We
think
both know it's not the truth.
Caro's pointed out, I'm like the Tony Stark of audio equipment. Like, I'm just going to keep building and building it up.
Just not a genius,
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, sick
was painful.
burn. Whoa.
Well, Jesse, once you have nanotechnology, then we can start talking again.
Yeah, your nanotechnology recorder.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you could just walk around and record and just upload to Dropbox just walking down the street without hitting a button.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
That's
we
great.
need.
I think,
Anyway.
Yeah.
So today we are continuing our Malevolence coverage, and this time we're going to hit Book 8 with the Blood Angels.
Yeah. So Blood Angels were my very first army that very first Space Marine army that got me into Warhammer as a whole. So Blood Angels have always held a real special spot in my heart. So I'm very happy that you had me on for this one.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know Jake.
Yes.
I don't know. What is your opinion on Blood Angels? I mean, they're okay for you, right?
Yeah, they bring home the bacon when it needs to be done.
Yeah.
No, I have a similar experience. I actually what got me first into Warhammer, my first Warhammer army was actually Tau, and I got sick of getting my face punched in and decided I wanted something that could punch other people in the face.
Yeah.
So then Blood Angels seemed like the obvious choice, and then I've never gone back.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, Tau was my first army, and yeah, for the same reason, I was like, I'm tired of not getting into fights, and then I was like, these not Death Watch. What are they called?
Death Company.
The Death Company. I was like, these guys look like they could fight somebody pretty well, and yeah, they did. 7th edition, they were a lot of fun.
Maniacal, murderous PTSD. Sign me up.
Yeah, what's not to love? But so I guess what are we talking about then? We're talking about changes or just the whole coverage as everything, right?
A lot of it is the same, if I remember right, from Book 6, as far as most of the Legiones Astartes rules and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Very little changed.
But I feel at the same time, if you're new to the show,
Oh
new
yeah,
to
no,
this,
I
we
definitely
can
want to
absolutely
cover everything.
Yeah,
I just
we'll-
for I guess a reference point, if aside from the units missing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing what units you have, if you have Book 6, is that enough for you to kind of gauge if this army is still viable, or is it the units that are in here? Jake, this is also for you. Is it the units paired with these Legion Astartes and these Rites of War that really put the Blood Angels, up a notch?
Oh, for the units for sure. Very little changed between Book 6 and now. Mostly just almost like FAQ type clarifications and tweaks to the already existing rules.
Gotcha.
So as an example, I mean, I can go through this one by one if you guys want to do an overview, and I'll tag out things that have changed.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think if we start on page 202, if you have that in front of you.
Well, before we
Yes,
get started,
sir.
on that,
Okay, yeah.
let's
I'm sorry, man. I'm
That's
so
cool.
I'm so eager about
That's all
Blood
good.
Angels.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you even told me right before we recorded. Yeah, we've hijacked it.
This is our moment. We've been waiting.
Well, you gotta wait some longer. I need to talk about my demons.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick overview of what we've been up to this week. So go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing I did the last week was building all of my corn demons.
Oh, yeah.
Past
And-
3 weeks, you've been.
Yeah, I just put up a building station on a balcony. I can recommend it, apart from everything gets covered in pollen right now.
Oh, yeah.
But it's awesome. Because now I'm finally able to just start painting. I Jesse based or primed them all. I hate priming, honestly. So he did that for me all, and I just went all in on the corn demon hounds, on the bloodthirster. It is fun. A few Nurglings.
Yeah, because I thought you picked up the Start Collecting Nurgle bucks.
I did
A
pick
couple
up
weeks
as well.
ago.
I
Yeah.
also picked up Wrath and Glory.
Wrath and Rapture.
Wrath and Rapture,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so you got a whole slew of demons now.
Yeah, I also picked up all my old Siege demons, so I should have quite a good army.
So are you planning to do a, what is the one that is combined faction?
That's going to be the iridescent? No.
Sounds
Evanescence? The Evanescence.
Something like that. But it's the one where you can
Yeah, I can
just
mix
pick
everything.
and choose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They
good.
just wake you up inside.
Yeah.
And,
Bring you to life,
Yeah.
you know?
Is this
it's
the
iridescent.
hold on, stand by.
Iridescent sounds good.
Resplendent Terror?
Resplendent.
Is that just kind of
That's it.
Chaos
yes.
Undivided?
Yeah.
That's right.
Fancy English word, chaos undivided.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
How about you, Jake? What have you been up to?
So regrettably, I've been working on moving into a new house the past couple weeks, so not a whole too much hobbying has been done.
You got
I
a decent,
did finish up.
You got a decent space for hobbying now, though?
I will, yes. I'm getting like a big L desk, and
Yeah.
I'll have my own little room in the house. It'll
Worth
be
it.
really nice.
Very cool.
But I was able to finish up converting my Angel's Tears unit, which is one of the things we'll talk about later. It's one of the new Blood Angels units, but got my Destroyer boys with their Volkite pistols ready to go. And I've also been working on building a unit of Breachers.
Very cool.
Blood Angel Breachers?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Very interesting. Yeah.
Now you gave him ideas.
I like taking the weird, like, why are you taking that? I don't know, because it's cool. So, like, I have a support unit of Flamer guys. Why? I don't know, because it's cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. How about yourself, Will?
Let's see. This last week, I finished up Dave's Emperor's Spears.
Yeah.
So I know that's not 30K related, but that was a Primaris project I was working on for Dave. And of course, that whole project was based off the book Spear of the Emperor, which is Dan. I think it was
Darren
Dan.
Dembski Bauer.
It was ADB,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
So it was
It's
an
your boy,
ADB book,
ADB.
and yeah. So that was a fun project. And then right after it, I just felt good, so I cleaned up my workstation and I knocked out 2 armigers for you
Yeah. And
in 2 days.
They're
Which
very sexy.
yeah.
You already has them in a display case.
Perfect. And then immediately after that, I kept the momentum up, and I finished Indomitus Regna, which is the indomitable queen for my Legio Solaria for Adeptus Titanicus.
You've just been on the ball.
Man, I know. I just felt it, and I just let the music take me, man. You
That's
know?
cool.
Will's been picking up my slack, it seems.
Yeah. Well, I just got out of school, so I just finished. I was in boot camp for this IT stuff for Certified Ethical Hacker and then CIS Plus or CAS Plus, and now that's finished. And I was like, it's time for me time. You know what I mean? No more books or anything like this for a couple while. So, yeah,
cool.
just knocked that out.
Nice.
Your armigers look real good from what I saw. Not quite enough chains and skulls and hooks for my taste, but
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah. I need to get a family portrait here pretty soon, but together with the rest of House Viridian that I have, it looks so great.
Bring them over, and we'll use my Musil
Yes.
and lights and everything. That way we can get a good back shot of them.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, man. That'll be fun.
Yep.
But what about yourself? What have you been doing?
So I've been repainting all of my Dark Angel vehicles.
I saw. Yeah.
I just been
You get like a whole new scheme, don't you?
it's slightly different. Beforehand it was mostly all I didn't have an airbrush before when I
Right,
built
yeah.
most of them and painted them. And a lot of it was just real rough dry brushing, trying to make some semblance of depth to it.
Sure.
But now that I have an airbrush, like all I do is just
Life
chaos
is crazy,
black.
right?
Yeah, I just chaos black over everything.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even strip. I'm just,
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Screw this.
okay. This is. I'll tell you after this. Go on. Continue.
Yep. Just spray everything over chaos black. Then I bring them over to my airbrush. Just some light gray.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing was me learning exactly where to place
The gray.
because
you did panel highlighting, right? Or
Yeah.
did you do modulation?
panel highlighting for the most part.
I think that's the go-to method for beginners. I know I still use it.
I kind of do a little mix of both now.
Yeah.
But it's turned out great. And then all I have to do after that is airbrush brown.
For the weathering.
A
quick, easy. And that's such an easy method to get like a decent weathering effect. You know what I mean? Well, not decent. It looks great. You know what I mean?
And then for the final step, for the most part, other than details, is dry brush with lead belcher or Necron compound.
Yeah.
And just on the very sharpest edges, and it brings out everything. It looks so great. Then all I have to do left is, just some metallic details, a little bit of transfers where I can find them, and they're good to go.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. But I do pretty much the same, except after the transfers, I'll then do like the oils and pigments and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you've got my whole Iron Hands vehicle scheme down. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, if you want to do black armor, or black tanks, I think that's the way to go, man. So we're talking how you were like, I didn't even strip them. So I have a Rhino in my Iron Hands army, and I needed it like the day before Nova because I realized that I had 10 Marines that did not have transports, and I was like, I can't have a 10-man squad out in the open. They're going to be dead.
Yeah, they'll never make it.
So I have this test Rhino that I test all my weathering techniques on beforehand so I can see what they look like. I just literally painted over so many layers of like test oils and enamels and everything like that. I just blacked it, painted it up, threw on decals, threw some pigments on top, and was like, there it goes. And you wouldn't notice, and it still is in the army as is, and I have not bothered to go back and fix it or anything like that.
Very cool.
Do you have a new test Rhino?
Oh,
another one where you're testing everything?
I have a few test models actually that I just keep dipping in purple power every time it's time to try out something new. But
I think people resort, I should say, to stripping a little more often than I think. Like just a new prime usually does the trick. Like unless you're really getting an eBay Pro painted model that's really just like gotten the shit beat out of it, you're usually okay to just like reprime and start over. But I digress.
But man. So that's another thing though. You're talking about test rhinos. If you guys don't have a test rhino or a test vehicle, you can buy some of the older plastic models or something like that. Pick one up off of eBay for $5. Just something you can paint and then try techniques out on, so you're not ruining your $50 rhino.
Your FLGS probably has some broken bits and pieces in the back somewhere.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
how many times can you go to like a bits exchange and there's like half of a dreadnought torso and you're
I've seen half a night.
That's all I need. Okay.
$5. So like,
thank you.
Can confirm that Battlegrounds has an entire box full of like busted ass Space Marine vehicles you can buy for pennies on the dollar.
If you're looking for terrain, that's also not a bad idea. But yeah. So let's get to it then. Unless you have anything else you want to talk about.
No.
Yeah?
Nope. I'm happy with this segment.
That's good.
Cool. So, Age of Darkness Army List Appendix 9, The Blood Angels. So, like I said, we're going to go through here as an overview on the Legionis Astartes Blood Angels. And we'll do some reading here. Hopefully this won't be as bad as a couple weeks ago. We'll start off with page 202 in Book 8, if you're reading along at home. Legionis Astartes Blood Angels. The Space Marines of the Emperor's Legions are genetically engineered, psycho-indoctrinated warriors with superhuman abilities and minds and souls tempered for war. In addition, each individual legion has its own idiosyncrasies and character, the product of their gene seed and unique warrior culture. The Blood Angels of all warriors of the Legionis Astartes evidence perhaps the greatest degree of transformation of their flesh from the human origins to the Space Marines they would become. This transformation's effects were even more pronounced and more fundamental than that of the Space Wolves or the Salamanders, both of which featured unique stigmata of their own. The aggressive overriding of the aspirant's gene helix by the blood of their Primarch was capable of transfiguring the rad-scarred and twisted inhabitants of Baal to create perfected warriors, living icons of the physical ideal of the Legiones Astartes, each one an echo of their Primarch, called the Angel. So yeah, first things first. Just echoes of Emperor's Children come to mind just from that paragraph alone.
Right? Yeah, I feel like it, like turning the rad-infested world into gene sires of their angel. Yeah. They definitely, I feel there's a lot of parallels between Emperor's Children and Blood Angels, not only with their levels of perfection and artifice and things like that, but also their heritage and their home worlds. Mm-hmm. You see a lot of parallels, I feel.
The lore section of this book, especially for the Blood Angels, talking about their pre-Sanguinius days, is pretty interesting. Anybody that has any interest at all should check that out.
There was a price, however, for this power, and the process of transformation was more arcane, elaborate, and painful one than that endured by any other legion. Even with the direct infusion of its Primarch's own blood to stabilize the process, the rate of fatalities among the legion's aspirants was frighteningly high. There are also those who argued that the mental scars suffered by those who survived the change were just as deep, instilling a sense of cause and purpose that manifested as unflinching, unreasoning fanaticism, bordering on madness, a certainty which could be in mere moments turned into insane fury when that purpose was challenged. So it goes on with some more flavor text and whatnot, but I'm going to skip a little bit over there instead of reading word for word the entire time. And I will go down to the Blood Angels rules. All models and units with this special rule are subject to the following provisions. Legiones Astartes, units with this special rule may always attempt to regroup at their normal leadership value regardless of casualties. The basics.
Yeah.
In Carmine Fury, when fighting in an assault and using a melee-type weapon, any model with the Legiones Astartes Blood Angels special rule requires one lower result to wound than they would normally, to a minimum of 2+. This effect applies regardless of the weapon they are using. For example, using a Strength 4 melee weapon and attacking a target with a toughness of 4, the Blood Angel will require a 3+ to wound rather than the usual 4-up.
So one quick thing, we're talking about quality of life on these rules that they've started to write more and more of. Giving examples that are that detailed, I think, are really vital for this, as opposed to just like where they would have said one better, and you're like,
showing examples.
Yeah, can you give us? Yeah, that's really good to start off. Jake, has in Carmine Fury changed at all from the previous version?
It is almost an exact copy and paste. I don't see anything that's any different.
Okay, so yeah, and Carmine Fury is already an excellent Legion of Astartes bonus.
Oh, it's a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, woo, yeah.
When it gives you just a base overall bonus like that,
yeah, a solid +1.
Yeah,
that's excellent.
So there was a question that was brought up in the Blood Angel groups when this book came out. I mean, it probably had happened before, but I guess the debate came back up to the fore again. Does this mean that Blood Angels fighting in close combat rend on a 5?
No.
Okay.
Because rending isn't... No, it does not. Rending is on a 6 if... This doesn't increase your rending ability. It would say that if it did. It's just your to wound.
Right. So yeah. And you're absolutely right. Reading this again, it doesn't say anything about adding anything to your wound roll. So
yeah, exactly. Now, if it said adds +1 to your wound roll result, like 8th edition does, right, where it'll say adds +1 to your result, then I would say yes, you would need a 5 to make it a 6 to rend.
Well, you heard it here first. We're putting that debate to bed.
Yep. And if you want to at me, don't. Don't at me.
You'll never find us.
Yeah. So next is without remorse, without relent. Models with Legiones Astartes Blood Angels special rule must always make a sweeping advance if they are able to, and may not voluntarily go to ground. So question, can jump infantry go to ground?
I do not know off the top of my head, but...
I know bikes can, right? And the reason I ask this is not being able to go to ground is on, Day of Revelation? The heavy jump assault one where you can bring your guys in turn 1. Being able to go to ground would be nice because you get your shroud or whatever the save is, plus going to ground. And if you can't do anything that turn anyway, since you just deep struck, you might as well go to ground. But I never realized that they were not allowed to go to ground, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's why I don't know if jump infantry can go to ground or not, because it's never been an issue.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what's growing to ground. Is that a rule? Is that even in the game?
Is that
I've never used
in the
it.
game? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll put that on the parking lot of questions.
Yeah. Are we writing these down? No, I'm not.
No.
I say it, but I'll just come back when I go through the
Yeah.
editing.
Listeners, make sure you add it to our wiki of questions that we got.
Yeah, just remind us.
Yeah. You can add me on that one.
Host of angels. With the exception of dedicated transports, a Blood Angels detachment may not have more units with a vehicle type than it has units with the Legion's Astartes Blood Angels special rule. Note that because of this, certain rights of war may be unavailable to Blood Angels armies.
So this is, well, I think it's exactly like the Black Shields, and I'm sure there's other legions that have it. But Black Shields, I specifically know, have this.
Okay.
So with the exception of dedicated transports, that's usually how these type of armies can get around it, is by doing things like Pride of the Legion, then taking Terminators, and then you get Land Raiders as dedicated transports, so then you're still able to field it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So while that limitation...
Wrath of Angels with a bunch of Storm Eagles.
Exactly.
And stuff.
So while you may have that Host of Angels limitation there, if you're a new listener and you're curious about it, don't worry, that's not going to stop you from building the army you want. You'll just have to finagle it a different way. Now, obviously, things like Armored Spearhead, or is it Armored Breakthrough? The one where you take the tanks as troops and everything like that.
That's Armored Spearhead?
Maybe. Armored...
The one with the Predators
Armored
can be...
Yeah,
something.
it's the one where you take the Predators as troops. Obviously, that one you can't do, right? Because...
You're very unlikely to be able to tailor a list to do that anyway.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, still a lot of good potential there, guys, and that's just your Legion of Astartes.
So next we'll talk about the special war gear. So Kara, go ahead.
The Legion-specific war gear. So the Fire of Heaven. The Legion's tactical doctrines were heavily focused on the use of powerful shock assaults to shatter an enemy's resistance in a single devastating blow. Because of this, Flamer and Melter weaponry was strongly favored, both because of its effectiveness and its ability to prove a fearsome display in action. Any model with the Legionis Astartes Blood Angel special rules, with the access to a Warkite Serpenta as part of their wargear, options may instead take a Hand Flamer for plus 15 points. Any model with the Legionis Astartes Blood Angel special rule with access to a Plasma Pistol as part of their wargear may instead take an Inferno Pistol for plus 15 points. And any Predator, Centurion, or Consul with the Blood Angel special rule with access to a Power Fist may instead take a Blade of Peridaton plus 20 points.
So the Blade of Perdition, has that changed at all?
Has not changed at all, but it has been clarified.
You talking about with Deathfire?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
they
here, I'll
cleaned
go
up
ahead. I'll
Deathfire,
go ahead and
yeah.
read the profile for it. So, Blade of Perdition, it's a melee weapon, strength user, AP2, with melee, mastercrafted, two-handed, and Deathfire. Deathfire reads: any model successfully wounded by a weapon with this type suffers 2 wounds for each hit instead of 1. Roll to save against each wound separately. And this is where it was clarified.
Yeah.
Wounds caused in excess of a given model's remaining wounds do not spill over to other models.
Because that was a huge point of contention before, where you like, if I overkill your dude, does his wounds carry over? No, they don't. Sorry. Stop.
And I think before it was fair to interpret it either way, and I think the default was going to spill over, because that's like the only thing Blood Angels players had going for them was this sword. So I think that was kind of the default, or at least that's the way I played it, and I always would talk about it with my opponents beforehand, and that's usually what we landed on. But I'm glad that this was clarified, because it was a little silly, to be fair.
Well, especially when you see later on that one of the dreads has Deathfire. That would have been ridiculous.
Yes.
You know? Oh my god.
I could have made it interesting.
So the illustrated assault cannon, Illustrious, is that it? Liastris assault cannon. Any Blood Angel model equipped with a heavy flamer may exchange it for an Illustrious pattern assault cannon for 5 points for infantry models and 15 points for vehicle models. This upgrade always uses the profile below, regardless of whether the weapon is being placed on twin-linked or has a coaxial weapon. Legion Predator tanks may also exchange a Predator cannon for twin-linked Illustrious pattern assault cannons for 5 points. And that looks like the same malfunction.
I think, does this one specifically call out the fact that it can replace twin-linked weapons?
Yes.
Yeah,
so people were wondering about the twin-linked flamer thing on top of the Predators. They were like, is that legal? Yeah, legal beagle, baby. Legal beagle.
So that was a clarification, and the vehicle-mounted ones received a slight points bump. They are now 15 instead of before it was just flat 5 for everyone.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I think they realized that the Burt Predators and the Burt Land Speeders were a little bit too strong for only 5 points.
A little spammy, sometimes, right? When you'd see like 6 speeders, 5 attack bikes, and then the Predators all with Burts on them,
Yeah. Twin-linked, too.
Yeah.
Because you could.
So yeah, the weapon, the Illustrious pattern assault cannon, that's 24 inches, strength 6, AP 4, heavy 4, rending, and malfunction. Malfunction is the same across all patterns of this weapon. When rolling to hit with this weapon, if 3 or more results of a 1 are rolled, then the weapon has suffered a malfunction result and may not be used again in the game. So, man, that one time you roll 3 1s. It's going to be when you need it not to also.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
will say, I have never had this happen to me. But then again, I don't play a whole 2-ton of games, so I'm sure it has happened.
My thing is, if you are running Burt spam, you're rolling every gun separate.
Yep.
Right? How long does that take? We're talking a Predator. A Predator itself can have 5?
It
4 at least?
Yeah, it can have 5.
4.
It can have
the main
up to
gun,
4.
2 sponsons, and the Pental. So that's 4 on that thing alone. You're running 3 of those. Good Lord, man. Speed this up some. Just suffer the malfunction results.
A little bit of a sidetrack, and we're going to get to this unit here in the future, but the Armistice makes all your Volkite or Heavy Bolters master-crafted.
Yeah.
If you're running him with a 10-man heavy support squadron, you got to roll 40 dice. 40
we've talked about that.
So
how do you do that?
What I've done...
You got dice.
I haven't tried it yet. I bought more dice, obviously. So now I have at least 10 different sets of 4 different colors. 10 different colors with a set of 4 each.
Oh.
And I'm hoping that speeds it up. I haven't haven't done any practice rolls, but I feel like that's the only way to do it.
Yep.
That is how Blood Angels players have been playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense then.
It's the best way.
All the reds are this guy, blue, green, whatever, all the way down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah, just re-roll those ones.
Just as long as you don't have colors that kind of look the same. Are these red or green? I can't tell, guys. I guess
you're gonna have to trust. You're gonna have to trust me, Will.
Yes, I'm colorblind.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean the assault cannon is a great weapon, and I do like its specialty in Horus Heresy. How it's not on everything, and Dreadnoughts don't have it, but they have the carries pattern.
Yeah,
which is its own awesome little toy in itself.
I do love me some carries.
Yeah,
Indeed.
so that's what a lot of Blood Angels players like to do, though, on their Dreadnoughts, is have dual close combat weapons and then just replace the inbuilt flamers with the assault cannon. So you're basically getting the benefit of both.
Yeah.
And still getting that extra melee attack.
But I don't know, man. Once we get to that new Dread, I don't know if we'll be seeing the other Dreads anymore.
Yeah.
But so we're on Day of Revelation. Jake, do you want to take Day of Revelation for us?
Absolutely, I would.
And listeners, we're on 204.
Yes. Blood Angels' unique rite of war, the Day of Revelation. Throughout the Great Crusade, the Ninth Legion became renowned for its wars of ultimatum. These campaigns of open domination against non-compliant worlds began with Sanguinius, or one of his praetors, affording a world one opportunity to embrace unification or face a Day of Revelation, in which they would suffer the fury of the Blood Angels unleashed. Many foes confronted by the gathered Ninth Legion hosts were overcome with dread and awe and capitulated without hesitation. Those who did not would see the shining countenance of the angel Sanguinius transformed into savage fury as blinding destruction was delivered from on high. So that's pretty badass.
Yeah, man. I had no idea that he would send an emissary down and be like, hey, man, this is your one and only shot. You want to embrace us? Who are you? Oh, let me show you.
He said no,
Let
guys.
me show you.
You didn't want to hug me,
The
now I'm
whole-
going to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. The whole coming in from on high. I don't know if you've read Titan Death, but there's a scene in there with Sanguinius, and I think it encapsulates that coming in on high pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a good
And,
moment. I don't want to give away spoilers or anything, but
Sure.
in case you weren't aware, Sanguinius is in the book, and he does do a little bit of Day of Revelation on some folks.
Very nice. That's also pretty much the opening scenes of Fear to Tread as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a very iconic thing of Sanguinius to just be like, I got wings. Let
Yep.
me use
The
them.
Blood Angels are the hammer to the Sons of Horus anvil.
Yeah. So what does Day of Revelation give us then, Jake?
All right, so we got effects. Cometh the host. Jump infantry squads, which are a part of this detachment, must arrive via deep strike on the first turn of the game and do not need to roll for reserves. So that's pretty cool. I have done a null deployment many a time because of this rule.
Oh, right, because I guess you can if you're coming in first turn, right?
Yep, if you have
Yeah,
enough deep
boy.
striking units and reserve units and things like that, you can do a null deployment with this, which is pretty cool sometimes. Next, we've got with fire and thunder. All deep striking units in this detachment gain a 5+ cover save on the game turn they arrive in play. Place a marker by the unit or otherwise note this to be the case.
See, this is the one that I was saying would be great if you could tie that in with a going to ground.
Sure.
Right, getting a 4-up cover save would be nice on a turn where you just jumped in and you really can't do anything else. But
Sure.
5-up, it's free, man. It's just free. You're going to deep
Yeah.
strike anyways. Might as well take that 5-up cover.
And I will. So, Chris Morgan has put in a few words about this. He's a guy from Forge the Narrative, and is also a TO for many events like the LVO and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he has pointed out that it does say game turn, so you have this 5-up cover save until the next time it is your turn again.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah. No, it's not player. That would be terrible if it was player turn and like it only worked against intercept. Oh, no, that would be
I'm
so
glad
bad.
that was brought to my attention, though, because that's the way I've been playing it.
Oh, no,
So I've been
Jake,
shooting
no.
myself in the foot.
Oh, man. Hey, I mean, you just handicapping yourself. That's all right. That way you play better, right?
Yeah, that's why I lost all those games, because
Yeah,
I
of
didn't
course.
have that 5-up cover
Yeah,
save.
yeah. That would have changed everything, I'm sure.
The world was changed the day he got a 5+ cover save.
Yeah. So the next one, though, is player turn, so I'll go ahead and get into that one. The opening of the seal. All ranged weapons carried by infantry and jump infantry units, which are part of this detachment, gain the pinning special rule in the shooting phase of any player turn in which they deep strike.
That's pretty
Which-
cool.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool. Pinning it doesn't do too much, but
We're talking
I mean,
free
again,
rules
it's
here,
free.
man. Yeah, it's free pinning. I mean,
Well, and
Iron
then
Warriors
think
have to
about
pay for it.
again, we'll get to this unit later.
Okay.
But you've got your Angels tiers with assault cannons coming in, and all of a sudden these assault cannons have pinning.
Yeah.
Can add up real quick.
QQ more, kids. QQ more.
Mm-hmm. All right, next we've got the Judgment of Angels. All units which are a part of this detachment and have the Legiones Astartes Blood Angels special rule gain +1 initiative on the turn they charge into assault. I think this is the money shot right here. This is what makes this Rite of War worth taking.
Especially mixed with a new rule that we're about to see here in a little bit called Keen.
Yes.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yep.
Fast
There have
as
been many a
fuck,
time.
boys.
So I'll go ahead and get into the next rule because it ties into what I want to say.
Okay.
But, by honor bound, characters with the Legiones Astartes Blood Angels special rule must always accept a challenge if one is offered in combat. If multiple eligible characters are present in the combat, the controlling player may choose which one answers the challenge as normal. So this is a little bit of a hindrance where you do not have the option to turn down challenges.
Yeah, I feel like
I have-
Imperial Fist also have that same challenge or that same honor bound kind of system,
The same
and
as
it
Emperor's
can
Children.
be beneficial and a hindrance at the same time.
What's real nice is when people know about this, or I've charged my assault unit into their whatever unit, and they're like, all right, well, I'm gonna issue a challenge with my Praetor, or whatever beat stick he's got in that unit.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, I'll check. I'll answer that with my chaplain. Oh, by the way, he's hitting it +1 initiative, just so you know.
Yeah. And he's got a Blade of Perdition. So,
And he's got a Blade of Perdition, so have fun with that.
yeah, man. So what are the limitations on this then?
All right. Limitations. Compulsory HQ and troops choices for this detachment must be made up of units equipped with jump packs.
So that is a bit of a tax, having to pay for jump packs to start, right? But I think it's a lighter tax, other than some of the ones, Alpha Legion, right, where to use Coils of the Hydra, they have to take a whole nother troop choice, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a heavy tax, but it's still cheaper than some of the other taxes.
But
you'll
at the
see.
same time, you wouldn't be taking this if you weren't bringing jump packs. to begin
Exactly.
with.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So it basically means your 2 compulsory troop choices pretty much have to be assault squads, unless
Right.
you're doing some kind of other wonky thing, like we'll get to Sanguinius, but he allows Dawnbreakers to be troops. So that
Mother of
maybe,
God. Okay. Yeah.
maybe you
I
can
can't
do
wait.
that, but generally speaking, you're going to be taking assault squads as your troop choices, and then
Yeah.
you're putting a chaplain or a praetor or something in there anyway. So this isn't really that big of a deal. We've also got detachments using this rite of war must take a compulsory fast attack choice as part of their force, which must also have either the flyer or deep strike special rule.
I don't see that as a limitation. It just helps
It's
you
just-
tailor your list, I think, more towards the theme, right? I feel most people
Yeah,
are going to bring probably speeders, I think is the go-to one, right?
I think
Because you can put your dual
javelins
you
and
can put your
lightnings
dual assault
are-
cannons on there.
Mm.
Yeah. I think your javelins and your lightnings are the kind of go-to choice for this.
What do you have, Jake? If you don't mind my asking.
So honestly, I've never really run this Rite of War on a frontline list.
Gasp.
I've always just had Centurion. So I've only ever had the one. Actually, at Nova last year, I had a unit of scimitars.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, you do have your scimitars, which again, those are really good because they are deep strike. So that's not a bad choice.
They're not bad. This year at Nova, I'm working on both 3 javelins and a lightning, so I will have that choice.
Nice. Are you still going to run your scimitars?
They are in a list. I don't remember which one, but they are in a list. I think they
Gotcha.
might be in one of my bromance lists.
Okay. So there's one more limitation here then.
There is. Primary detachments using this Rite of War may not take any fortifications, subterranean assault units, immobile units, or Lords of War other than flyers or the Primarch Sanguinius.
Wow. So I love this. These limitations really just tell you, hey guys, to make this in theme, make sure it's in theme, okay? Just make sure things can fly and go fast, okay?
Stop taking other stuff.
Yeah.
So the only change here that makes me sad is they specifically say no subterranean assault vehicles. So
Yeah, that's
no
what I was going to
termites,
say
guys,
next.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, I find it interesting that they didn't put the rules for the termite in here.
Where are the rules for the termite?
It's still just a PDF.
That's breakthrough, man. I had no idea.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they certainly had the opportunity to.
Is there a section in here that just has Legion of Astartes stuff? It does,
Yeah,
right? That's
it
where the new
does.
consoles
And
are.
the termites are not in there.
What happened?
And they're the
Forgel?
only ones that have subterranean assault.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So sadness, no termites.
Yeah. So,
But to be fair, that would be a little gamey because then you could bring a drop pod and a termite, so you have 2 more units
Coming in
automatically
turn
deep
one.
striking
Yeah.
turn 1. So that would be a little bit cheesy. So I can see why they did that, and it's not entirely fluffy either. I mean, I could see it,
Yeah.
but it makes sense.
everybody looking up at the sky and then suddenly, oh, wait.
What?
We were wrong all the time.
But
So,
so I think it's a really good Rite of War.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do say so. I think if you were going to start an army, 215 units of assault troops or assault infantry, a praetor with a jump pack, apothecaries with each of those units, and then, like you said, a chaplain, right? I think that's a pretty good go-to dude. Put him in the praetor in one squad, and I think that's like almost 1,000 points, maybe.
That's
Yeah,
a pretty good
I think
start.
that, and then the unit of scimitars, that was my starting army, and that was something like 1,200
That's a super
points for
super fun,
Centurion.
solid list to start off in a Centurion style game format. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right, so let's rock into the other.
Day of Sorrow.
Yep. Will you want to tackle that one?
All right, man. Let's do this, Brutus.
We can skip through the flavor text if you'd like.
Yeah, let's do that
Yeah.
because, I'm sure it's cool.
But y'all can read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on page 205 for the listeners, by the way. Resolute Defense. Any units with Legion Astartes Blood Angels, special rule, which is part of a detachment which uses this right of war, cannot be penned. In addition, is fearless within 3 inches of any objective or in their own deployment zone. Wow, already. That's way better than Head of the Gorgon, where I get just stubborn in my own deployment zone. These guys are straight up fearless. Good Lord.
Fearless and ignore pinning. That is pretty cool.
Yeah. Aura of Wrath. Any unit which suffers a morale check as a result of losing an assault in which the majority of the enemy models in the Legion of Astartes Blood Special Rule suffer an additional -1 penalty to their leadership value when taking the test.
Wow.
Units which are immune to fear are immune to this ability.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
So basically, if you lose a combat to a Blood Angels unit using this right of war, you suffer an additional -1 to your leadership check.
Right, so you have to lose the assault. Okay, so it's not good for breaking ties, but it's good for preventing ties. And here's the thing, right? You can win a combat against custodes or militia, and if they have that banner, that'll give them +1, and it could possibly tie the combat. This negates that to where it will give them the -1, and they will lose the combat, and you could sweep custodes. So, no, but you can sweep militia. Which is important,
Let's
people.
not
That's what
get
we're
crazy.
talking about.
Nobody's sweeping customs.
You're right. I had to stop for a minute. I was like, nope, fearless is a thing. Okay.
but at least you can sweep militia.
Yeah. By Blood Sworn. When any unit with the Legion on Astartes Blood Angel special rule, which is a part of this attachment, uses this right of war, is reduced to 50% or less than its starting models, the remaining models gain Feel No Pain 5+, special rule for the beginning of their next turn. This lasts for the remainder of the game. This kind of reminds me of, do you guys remember the old, who was it? The bad elves from space.
Dark Eldar?
Yeah, thank you. Dark Eldar. That's what it is.
Sorry, that was such broad. I wasn't even sure if you were talking about Warhammer there. So.
But in 7th edition, I remember they had a rule where the longer the game went and the more they lost, the better the individual models became.
Because of all the good drugs.
Yeah, all the drugs start kicking in. So this
All
is
that
them.
good shit.
Yeah, this is them starting to get lost in the rage a little bit. Back before it was what it is known as now in the 41st millennium. Limitations: bloody-handed. Characters which are part of this attachment must issue and accept challenges in combat where applicable. The Blood Angels player, however, may choose which of their characters does this if they have more than one in combat. So this is different from Honor Bound, because Honor Bound says they must accept, but this one says you must issue.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like issue and accept, right? Because Honor Bound just says you must always accept, right? So you don't have to issue one, but in Bloody Handed, you need to. So yeah, that is a pretty big limitation. To the Bitter Dregs. Any unit with Legion Astartes Blood Angel special rule, which is part of this attachment, which uses this right of war that has been reduced to 50% or less than its starting number of the models, counts as being destroyed at the end of the game for the purpose of victory points where these are used, and no longer count as scoring units. Note that independent characters attached to these units are unaffected.
Yeah. So this is the major limitation to this, and this is why I don't think you see this right of war very often, because once your unit gets below 50%, sure, it gets that Feel No Pain for free, but it's also no longer scoring, and your opponent gets a victory point for it.
But that said, it doesn't say you're no longer denying, so you can still deny.
Sure.
which is better than
You're just not
Shattered
getting that
Legions.
objective yourself.
Shattered
And
Legions
it's
can
still
never
worth
deny.
noting that they're still fearless and immune to pinning
Right.
within 3 inches of an objective.
But that kind of forces you to run larger size units, right?
Mhm.
Because if you run a 5-man Terminator squad,
Oh.
you lose 3, you're
You're
done,
done.
right?
Yeah.
That's it. Veterans, 5 dudes, that's it, done. So yeah, this is not an elite army to be playing this with. I don't think so. I think you're definitely going to want big hordes of infantry, power armor, 20-man squads running up with apothecary. Well, I don't know. Is it getting free Feel No Pain worth it? Would you guys still run apothecaries?
The problem with that is it doesn't kick in until you start losing that victory point.
Right.
So,
And this isn't one that. So, like, if you do bring the apothecary
kinda-
to keep you alive longer, right?
I feel like you'd have to put an apothecary in there to gain the benefits of preventing your opponent from getting to that 50% level.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and then when you do,
it's kinda
you would
ironic.
have that. Wouldn't it? Or is this just the World Eater's apothecary?
Right. So,
character
like, the
guy?
World Eater apothecary guy, right? He can add +1,
Okay.
right? Can't he? So if
Yeah.
if they have a 5 up, he can give them a 4 up,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. Whereas that'd be great if by Blood Sworn, if you got to 50%, it increased their Feel No Pain
Yeah.
by +1. So they got a 6 up without an apothecary, but with an apothecary, they'd get a 4 up.
So run your apothecary up in the front of the group and have it tank stuff.
Yes. And then when he dies, hey, no big deal, man. You just got another 5 up Feel No
He's
Pain
got to
coming.
be in the 51%,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
and then just start
So-
tanking.
So call me crazy, but I think this is your anti-demon Rite of War for Blood Angels.
Go on. I'm intrigued. Go on. What do you mean?
Like, so you're going to be losing these victory points for losing units, but it's also your units are going to get better as the game goes on, and you're going to be sitting on these objectives, playing your own game. And I know a lot of the demon, what are they? Not emanations. Whatever the different flavors of demon detachments are.
Mhm.
A lot of them, they have their own objective that they can choose from. So
Yeah,
if you've got
yeah.
these fearless, immune to pinning, Feel No Pain units sitting on these objectives, you're kind of forcing the demon player to play their own game.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
Because
and
you're going to be
also-
immune to their fear that they're going to cause.
Right. You're also getting better as the game goes on, and they're getting worse.
Oh.
Demons are getting worse the longer they're out of the warp.
Yeah. Hey, that's
So
not a
I'd
bad
be
idea,
interested to
man.
try that
Yeah.
against demons. I'd be interested to see how it went.
That's pretty good.
And it also gives me an opportunity to run the normal type Legiones Astartes lists you usually see, big blobs of tacticals and
Yeah.
support squads and things like that. And I'm not so pigeon-holed into playing the assault units. As fun as they are, I find myself wanting to try other stuff from time to time.
Exactly. But yeah, no, that's absolutely true, because you're still going to get that +1 to wound because you're a Blood Angel. That's your Legion of Astartes. And then getting your Feel No Pain is the longer you're in combat, and the whole fearless thing, because you're going to be on your objectives. It's not like they're going to try to capture objectives. They're trying to kill you, know? They're trying to do their own thing, like Jake said. Y'all are playing 2 different games entirely just on the same board.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah. So, damn, Jake, that's not a bad idea, man. That'd be interesting to see.
That's what I think. Because up until now, this has been kind of like oh, hey, I kind of just want to try this out. It's not that great. But I think specifically against demons, I think it might have its uses.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that works out.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned Dawnbreaker Cohort. You want to talk about these
did.
guys, Jake?
Sure. So,
We're on page
A lot of
206
people-
for the listeners, by the way.
yes, page 206. So a lot of people want to compare these to Sanguinary Guard, but when you read the lore portion of this book, they are actually their own thing. So they are not Sanguinary Guard.
Yeah, to me,
But-
if anything, they look like Suzerain, the Ultramarine Suzerains.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Sure.
Caesarian
Like-
Victus.
Like,
Yeah,
we're
they're
starting to
kinda-
see more of these power armor, artificer armor melee units, which, I mean, I think
Yeah.
we've seen them for a while, but there's definitely starting to become more and more.
Those are cool.
Like
Yeah, they are
these
awesome.
are your
right?
elite assault troops. Like these guys are. I mean, they're kind kind of function the same way a Sanguinary Guard would if they were in the game. But, they're just super hard-hitting assault units. So let's take a look through here. So you got Dawnbreaker Core. Wow. Jesse, you're getting to me, man.
Yeah.
The curse is lifted. I can speak.
The curse is
lifted. Speak like a human again.
That's what you think.
All right, so we got the Dawnbreaker cohort. So 210 points, so they're pretty pricey. Weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 1 wound, initiative 4, 2 attacks base, 3 on the champion, leadership 8, 9, and an innate 2-up save. So they come with Artificer armor standard. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have the Artificer armor, falling spear pattern power spear, and grenade dischargers with frag and crack munitions.
That sounds so dope, dude.
Yeah. So they kind of, I imagine they still kind of look like Sanguinary Guard. Like, we don't have models for these guys yet, but I imagine when they come out, they'll be very reminiscent, where they have those like wrist mounted weapons so they can wield their big 2-handed weapons freely.
Yeah. Ooh.
So
baby.
So we got special rules.
Oh, wait, so they all have this spear?
They all come with the spear standard.
Jesus.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay.
So you want me to run through the spear?
No, keep going down the list.
Okay,
Let's do this right. I'm just looking at the spear and my jaw's dropped. It's just.
They also come with jump packs, if that wasn't clear, but. So then the other special rule they've got, this is pretty niche, but it's also pretty awesome. Set the sky aflame. If this unit enters play via deep strike, all enemy units within 6 inches immediately suffer D6 strength 4 AP 0 hits. Roll once to determine the number of hits applied to all units within range.
This is like the what's the Dread Claws? Burning Retros or whatever it is?
I think so.
That's very similar, right?
Yeah. So it's not going to be winning you any games, but it's still cool. And that's like, you're getting real ballsy with your deep strikes at that point, getting within 6 inches of an enemy unit. Got to have some balls of steel for that one.
Hey, man.
Fortune favors the bold.
Deep striking
Indeed.
within 6 inches of a lightning and causing D6 strength 4 AP dash hits to it? That's enough to glance it, man. You could kill a lightning on your descent in. Like, just break through its wings and cockpit as you come on in, man.
All right, so options. We've got Dawnbreaker cohort may take up to 5 additional Dawnbreaker Legionaries for plus 25 points each. Any model in the squad may exchange their Falling Star pattern Power Spear for an Equinox Power Blade case for 5 points per model. The entire squad may take Melt-A-Bombs for 25 points. And the Dawnbreaker champion may exchange their Falling Star Power Spear for a Blade of Perdition for 20 points. So
pricey,
this is
but I think it's pretty worth it.
Throughout this army, where like sergeants more or less can take a Blade of Perdition, and any AP2 at initiative weapons you can get are okay in my book.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're pretty fine. Yeah.
All right, so we got the Falling Star pattern Power Spears. It is a spear, so it's got the like split profile between charging and normal. So for charging, you've got melee, strength +1, AP2, and then normally you have strength user AP3. So they're definitely way better on the charge.
Yeah.
But, they're still not bad. Like, they're still pretty good. Melee, 2-handed. So you're not getting your extra attacks for having 2 melee weapons, but they don't have that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. This one is the one I think is way more interesting. Like, the Power Spears are good, don't get me wrong, but let's talk about the Equinox Power Blade case. Equinox Power Blade case is a pair of melee weapons, each with a different profile is listed below. In any given assault phase, the wielder must choose one of the following 2 profiles before making any attacks, and all their attacks in that phase will use the chosen profile and gain the additional attack for using 2 combat weapons. So you're paying 5 points to basically give your guys an extra attack, and then you get to choose one of these 2 profiles. So we've got the Sunrise and the Sunset Blade. Sunrise Blade is Strength User, AP3, Melee, Shred, and Keen. And Keen means when attacking with this weapon, the user adds +1 to their initiative value.
So that Rite of War pairing gives them +2 to their initiative value the turn they charge. That is...
So they're going to be hitting at initiative 6 on the
They're
charge.
just chopping power armor to bits at that point, man.
Yep. And with
Especially
Shred.
with Shred,
Shred is
yeah.
nothing to sneeze at.
And if they're charging AP2, like, they're hitting at the same initiative as a Praetor, and they're just going toe-to-toe with Praetors at that point.
Yeah.
Well, so they wouldn't be hitting at initiative 2 or AP2 because that's
No, because that's just the spear that does that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was
It's
looking
just
at
the Sunrise that does
Sorry.
that.
But still hitting at initiative 6 against power armor, they're not going to enjoy that at all.
Yeah.
So you've got your Sunset Blade. This is the other sword you get. Strength User, AP3, Melee, Rending, and Sunder, which is also nothing to sneeze at.
So they're going to be
I think
user, right? So they're 4.
Yeah.
Then you're going to get 6 for Rending. So that puts you up to AP 10. And then another D3, 13. And then you have Sunder. So you can glance armor 13 with these swords, dude.
Yeah.
Like Dreadnoughts, you thought you were safe. You thought you were safe, Dreadnoughts. I don't need melt-a-bombs.
Just
I have
die
swords.
under a tide of hacking blades.
Dudes, that is insane.
Yeah, so that's where I think the Equinox, Equinox Power Blade cases. That's where this unit comes into its own because it becomes such a toolbox unit. You can throw it at whatever you want, and it's going to get something done.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact, 5 points. I think that's a pretty fair balance.
Yeah. So, like, my loadout for this is a full 10-man squad. You give the champion the Blade of Perdition because why wouldn't you? I think you take 3 to 4 of the spears, and then the rest of them have the Equinox cases.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's a good mix of AP2 to start in and charge in case you end up having to fight Terminators or something.
Yeah.
And
especially if you're using them in Day of Revelation because they're going to be hitting an initiative 5 even with those spears.
Yeah.
At AP2. So I think
awesome.
that's a star unit for me. I can't wait to see the models for these guys. These guys I'm not brave enough to convert models for these.
Yeah, I always feel like I've
model.
always held off on converting too, because then when you see the actual Forge World product, you're like, what have I done? I did not do this thing justice at all, you know? Like I did my Pravian. I was like, this guy looks pretty cool. And then I saw the Forge World Pravian. I was like, my God, I could have never imagined something so awesome as that. But then they have like this grenade discharger, right?
Yeah.
Which, check it out. It's actually not grenade.
Yeah,
It's
it's
assault.
actually an Assault 1 weapon.
Yeah.
You can basically fire frag or crack grenades.
Now hold
at,
on. Do
Assault
regular
1.
grenades have the assault type? I can't remember. I think they do.
I believe they are just grenades.
Well, that's the thing.
I couldn't be sure, though.
I wonder, because the grenade discharger is not a grenade, which
Yes.
makes me think that you would be able to shoot these multiple times, right?
Yeah, I think each person would get to shoot one.
Right, because it's not like a regular grenade where it's like only one model may throw a grenade. This is a hand cannon.
It's true. They all come with it.
Yeah.
It is a grenade discharger weapon with frag and crack munitions.
Right, so that's something else then. They don't have frag and crack grenades. They just have this thing.
This was being discussed. So you could make the argument that this means these guys don't count as having crack or frag grenades, so they would not get their extra attack for assault, or they'd be hitting an initiative 1 assaulting through dangerous terrain. But I could come out on either side on that.
Yeah. I think that does need to be cleared up a little bit then, right?
Yeah.
Are these grenades or is it? Because I think if they just wanted to give them grenades, they would have just said grenades, right?
Yeah.
Or what is it? The grenade harness, which is what the Terminators have. So I don't know. I think they need to clarify that. Do they have the frag and crack grenades, and can they shoot? Is it the best of both worlds? Is what I'm asking. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine so, because for the premium you're paying for these guys, it'd be a real shame to be throwing a, 350 point unit into terrain, and then oh well, too bad you're at initiative 1.
Yeah. No, I definitely would play it as best of both worlds, personally.
Yeah, but that's definitely something to look for in an FAQ at some point.
But yeah, so what's next? Jess, do you want to take the next one?
Sure. So we got the Crimson Paladins here. And these are the sexy Terminators that Forge World came out with a few weeks ago.
Just out of nowhere, man. I don't think anybody saw those coming.
Models.
Yep.
Were they in any books or anything like that?
Not so far as I know.
No, I've never heard of them before, except when Forge was like, check these dudes out. And I was like, I want them.
They're kind of the Blood Angels equivalent of Death Shroud.
Yeah.
Coming out of left field, we got Crimson Paladins at 160 points, with 2 Crimson Paladins and 1 Crimson Exemplar as a unit composition. Crimson Paladin squad numbering 5 models or less may take a Land Raider Phobos as a dedicated transport. These are infantry. The Exemplar is a character. They're in Cataphractic Terminator armor. They have a power weapon and a Coriolis. Oh no, it's back. Sorry.
Coriolis.
The curse
Yep.
back. The Coriolis pattern power shield.
Right. So it's important to make note that this is not a storm shield, like some people were speculating. Like I myself speculated even. Oh, also, their stat line I think is the same of that as a regular Terminator unit. I don't think they have anything special.
The Exemplar has 2 wounds.
Oh, you're right. Look at that. Okay.
But the regular Paladins are your standard Cataphracti affair.
Gotcha. And they're all
also
leadership
all
10.
leadership 10. Yes.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah.
Good call. Let's see. Their special rules. They're Blood Angels. They can deep strike, which is pretty sexy. The blood is forever, which that's a pretty cool sounding rule name.
Yeah.
And they're stubborn, so the blood is forever. While locked in combat with a unit that outnumbers them, a Crimson Paladin squad gains the Feel No Pain 5-up special rule. If outnumbered by more than twice their own number, they instead gain Feel No Pain 4-up special rule. Any independent character that joins the squad do not gain the special rule and do not count for the purposes of determining when this squad is outnumbered. Each Crimson Paladin and Crimson Exemplar is counted as 2 models, as are any enemy models with the bulky rule. Models with other versions of the bulky special rule count as the number of models they would for the purposes of transport capacity. And the Coolio pattern power shields
Coolio.
I'm about it.
reduce the strength of all melee attacks targeting a model with a Coolio power shield by -1.
Wow.
Cool.
That's
yeah.
pretty
Pretty
good.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not getting doubled out by Power Fists.
Yeah. You're going to have to fight us the old-fashioned way.
That's right. Their options include taking up to 2 additional Crimson Paladins to bring your capacity up to 5. Any model in this squad may exchange its power weapon for a Sunset Blade for free.
That is the Rending and Sunder one from the Dawnbreaker cohort.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. Single Crimson Paladin in the squad may exchange their Coolio power shield from one of the following: Elastis Pattern Assault Cannon for 10 points, Heavy Flamer for 5, Plasma Blaster for 15. Up to 2 Crimson Paladins may exchange their power weapon for a Power Fist at 20 points a model.
Oof.
It's a little pricey.
Yeah.
The Crimson Exemplar may exchange both their power weapon and Coolio power shield for a Blade of Perdition for 10 points.
And that's they make it a spear, I guess.
Does it?
It's modeled as
like
a
a
spear.
glaive.
Okay, gotcha.
It's modeled as a spear. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Crimson Exemplar may take a Grenade Hardest for 10 points.
Standard. Yeah.
Yeah. Discuss.
Wow. These guys. Why would you want to take an extra 2? Just
Because you
take the
can.
3. Take the 3 and always be outnumbered in every combat. Just
Fucking suicide them into somebody's back line somewhere.
dude.
Be like, do something about it.
Yeah. So first thing I want to talk about is the fact that they are in units of 3, which I really like because many times I feel like you want to take a small bodyguard that isn't a command squad, and put your character with it that might be in Terminator armor and put them in a Land Raider. But if you want to do, like, for example, Gorgon Terminators, right? I'm going to use my own Terminators as reference here. Come in groups of 5. I can't put Autech more with them unless I buy a Spartan. I don't want to do that. I want to use Land Raiders because I get those for, everywhere in my list. But the fact these guys are 3, man, you can totally do that.
Yeah. As much as I love these guys and think they're so, they're really cool, but I think they have a very confused profile. Like, I don't think these Terminators know what they are supposed to do. Because they're really assault-oriented. They've got this feel no pain, but unless you're running them as the 3-man unit, you're probably not very often going to get that.
Here's what I think they are.
They're still only single-wound Terminators.
I think they are an anti-tar pit Terminator. For demons?
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
If you have these guys running around, even 5 of these guys, against a 20-man blob or a 50-man blob of conscripts or something like that, they're going to do really well. Mm-hmm. If those conscripts are trying to hit you with their user strength 3, which then gets turned to strength 2 versus you.
They're wounding on 6s.
They're wounding on 6s, and the ones that hit, you're getting a 4+ feel no pain. I think that's what these guys are doing, is they are the dudes that tar pit before you're tar pitted. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, yes, they have power weapons, so you can go ahead and do power swords or hammers or whatever, so yeah.
Yeah. And the 20-point power fist, that's Forge World telling you, take the fucking swords.
Yeah, exactly. That's them just being like, you can, but come on, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are real cool. Even if they are a pretty niche unit, I will definitely be having a unit of these at some point because they're just too gorgeous to not.
Yeah, and as a collector, I think you definitely need to have a set, you know? Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Just to
have
one
I got eyes on Capital Palette with these guys, I think.
Oh, nice.
So
so next we have Angel Tears.
Yeah, the Angels
Tears. The Angels Tears, not just Angel Tears. Yeah. So these guys are 130 points. You have the Heirloom. Am I saying that right? Heirloom. Yep. And the Arc Heirloom. They are 4s across the board, 1 wound, 1 attack base, 9 leadership, 3 up save, and the Arc has 2 attacks. So they look like just veteran Marines so far.
So one note I'll throw in here, these guys are basically like the Blood Angels Special Destroyer unit.
Right, yeah, and you're going to notice that in the rules.
Yeah.
For example, they're jump infant. Or do you want to go, Jake?
Well, no, I just want to throw in as a note for the attacks thing that's been brought to attention. Normal destroyers got FAQ'd to have 2 and 3 rather than just 1 and 2.
Okay.
And the theory is that FAQ happened after this book had already been sent to get published.
Possibly.
So
yes.
I feel like we might be seeing an FAQ later to bring these guys up to levels with normal destroyers having extra attacks.
Yeah, let's definitely hope so because I hate it when you find Legion line units that are better than some of the elite units, right? Like veterans were versus Reavers for so long. You know, you'd always want to take regular veterans over Sons of Horus Reavers for a little bit there.
Right.
So going
I
on.
think that was just a slight thing, and, I'm sure that'll get FAQ'd.
Sure.
At some point.
So the unit type, they are jump infantry. The boss man is a character. They have power armor, chain swords or combat blades, frag, crack, and rag grenades. Each dude has 2 Volkite Serpentas, and they have jump packs. And they are Legion Astartes. They have counterattack and hardened armor, just like regular destroyers. Another note down here is that Legion Mortats may join the Angels Tears units as if it was a Legion Destroyer squad. So that's just one more thing telling you that these guys are a Blood Angel specific destroyer unit. You know.
Yes.
So you can take 5 additional special destroyers for 15 points each, which is pretty good because that includes the jump pack. You're not paying attacks on the jump pack. Entire squad, just as destroyers, 25 points to take melted bombs. Any squad member or any Illyrium in the squad may exchange their Volkite Serpenta for one of the following: Angel's Tier grenade launchers, heavy flamers, assault cannon with suspensor web. What? Roto cannon or heavy chainsword. The boss may exchange their chainsword or combat blade for heavy chainsword, power weapon, power fist, lightning claw, a single lightning claw, or thunderhammer. The Arc may exchange their Volkite Serpentas for plasma pistol, 10 points each, And the Arc may also take Artificer Armor. So, right, dude. Oh my god. Any Aurelium may take the Assault Cannon with Suspensor Web.
Yes.
They only lose one of their Volkite Serpenta. They all get this, man. They're all jump troops that get this. You kidding me right now? Oh my god. Okay.
So
let's...
as awesome as that is, right? And I mean, the reaction you're having is the reaction every single Blood Angel player had when they first read this, right?
Yeah.
And here's why I think that having a full squad of those guys is new bait. Right?
Go for it.
They are 15 points apiece. They are pretty expensive.
Yeah.
For power armor. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the Suspensor Web would turn them into an assault type weapon, but also have their range.
No. Nope. It's at half their range. It becomes assault.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is still a heavy weapon until you reach half range.
Okay. So that's not quite as bad as I thought. But I still think...
Hold on. Jesse's having an epiphany here.
I thought it was the one that allows you to fire a heavy weapon even if you move.
It is. It turns your weapon into an assault weapon.
Okay, gotcha.
At half range. That's how it allows you to fire your heavy weapon. It halves your range, becomes assault.
See. Gotcha. Okay.
But that doesn't say you can't use the heavy variant for longer range. But then you are snap firing.
Gotcha.
Okay. So that's not as bad as I thought. That's not quite as bad. But I still believe that at least a full unit of these guys is new bait, because you're still having to drop a super expensive unit pretty close into somebody to be able to get that 24-inch range, because 24-inch range isn't really like that far.
But still, against demons, I don't think there's any unit which can really shoot, so you can do definitely a whole bunch of damage against those guys.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I think you definitely have a problem of diminishing returns on this unit, though. Like, once you get above a certain number of assault cannons in the unit, it just kind of becomes redundant.
Yeah, I think you're going to find 2 is probably your magic number. I think 2 is enough to be fun, but not be too heavy of a loss. You know what I mean?
Sure. And, I mean, I think they're kind of living up to their Moritat type unit here, where they're going to drop in, blow something off the face of the map, and then immediately die.
Yeah.
Especially only having power armor.
Just like a good destroyer unit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's their job.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the Angels Tier's grenade launcher. So rather than have the rad missile, they have this grenade launcher, which is 24 inches, strength 4, AP 4, assault 1, blast 3 inches, rad phage, and fleshbane. So it is basically the rad missile. Just a... Well, damn. I don't know. What's different about it?
Honestly, couldn't tell you.
Is the range? I think that's the same range. I think maybe it's a strength or AP thing. I don't have a rad missile in front of me to let you know. But I know the 3 inches, blast, rad phage, fleshbane, that's all the same.
Yeah, I know a rad grenade's different from a missile.
Yeah. It's got to be like in the strength or AP profile, otherwise why would they put it, right?
And a range to it, I believe.
Yeah.
But, so I'll tell you how I'm running these guys, right? So I just finished converting up my unit of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just running a full 10-man squad of Volkite.
Yeah.
Because that's still 20 Volkite shots coming into something.
It is.
And if I pair that with the Volkite Moritat, it's 32 Volkite shots going into something.
Yeah, that's definitely going to... Strength 5, AP 5, deflagrate.
You drop behind some vehicles, you can still glance something to death.
Yeah, you can. Absolutely. Yeah. The only issue with the Volkite Serpentas is they are not the shortest, but one of the shortest range pistols.
Right.
Only being 10 inches. But, hey, that's fine.
So I'm almost running these guys as not deep striking them and just using them as like threat response.
Yeah. Like a QRF in your back line, maybe?
Normally. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Like, hey, hey, demon player, you put a demon rift back here, like near my deployment? Well,
oh, yeah, just to harass a demon rift, man. Any unit that comes out of the demon rift, you just pop it a couple times. Yeah, not a bad idea.
Yeah, and they do have counterattacks, so they're not, I mean, they're still probably going to die to a big chunk of demons, but they're going to put up a fight.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a pretty good unit, and that's all yours. You're using like a bit of a conversion from a little bit of Sanguinary Guard with the Death Mass. You got
Yeah, so like I just took like the normal Destroyer model, head swapped them with the Sanguinary Guard. Like,
I think
Death
Jesse
Masks.
found out what the difference is
On
the rad missiles. Was that what you were looking for?
it wasn't, but I can do that real quick.
Oh, what were you looking for?
Suspensor web, because in my head I never used it before.
Really?
I just assumed that.
All right, let's pull it up because now we got
Suspensor web right here.
You do? What does it say?
A heavy weapon with a A heavy weapon with a suspensor web effectively allows the firer to treat the weapon as having the type assault rather than heavy, meaning they can move and fire at full weapon skill when firing in the shooting phase at targets up to half the weapon's usual maximum range.
Yep.
This has no other effect, such as snapshots when charged, etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So you can still
would-
fire your regular weapon at full range if you want
for
to.
example, a heavy bolter with a suspensor web, which is usually range 36 inches, heavy 3 weapon, can instead be used as if it were range 18 assault 3 weapon if the player wishes in their shooting phase.
Pretty neat stuff.
Yeah.
So I wasn't completely wrong. It would have the range of it if they weren't already jump infantry and count as having relentless.
No. They don't count as having relentless.
Do they not?
No. Jetpack have relentless. Jump pack do not.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you would have to drop them in close to make use of that suspensor web.
This episode of the Remembrancers Retreat is supported in part by our generous patrons. This week we would like to thank our newest member, @Gardener.treeofwoe. You can find his hobby creations on Facebook and Instagram with the same handle. And as always, we thank our top-tier patrons, Alex Self, Chris Mack, and Joe from Music City Heresy. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to try this again. Hey, it's me and Jake. We're back. I forgot to hit the record button going in for about 10 minutes. But yeah, we're going to, just me and Jake, we're going to wrap up the rest of these units for the Blood Angels. Starting with the Contemptor Incendious Class Dreadnought. Do you want to run through that again, Jake?
I would love to.
Okay, I'm glad I just stopped at this one. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Got excited.
That's
And
all
we're back.
good.
All right.
All right. So, I mean, we've pretty much got a standard Contemptor Dreadnought here. Weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5, strength 7, front armor, side armor, rear armor, 13, 12, 10. Initiative 4, 3 attacks, 3 hull points. Just vehicle type walker. And for war gear, we've got 2 Talons of Perdition, each with an inbuilt heavy flamer. So this guy's got a blade of salty tears fingers. Just take some swords and just glue it onto his hands. It's pretty much what you got. Smoke launcher, searchlight. Special rules: adamantic shielding, fleet, armored ceramite, and incendious booster pack. So we'll get to that in a minute. For options, we've got Contemptor Incendious may replace any heavy flamer with one of the following: Melt-A-Gun for 10 points, Iliastus Pattern Assault Cannon for 15 points. So, typical Blood Angel stuff. A Contemptor Incendious may replace either of its Talons of Perdition with a Dreadnought Close Combat weapon for free, and this does not change any inbuilt heavy flamers, Melt-A-Guns, or Iliastus Pattern Assault Cannons. So you get to keep your toys if you swap it for a Dreadnought weapon, which I'm kind of glad they specified that, because I feel like that could have been a question that came up.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy's very reminiscent of the old Furioso Dreadnought from 40K for the Blood Angels, like double melee weapons with like the Melt-A-Gun and Flamer. And lastly, we got a Contemptor Incendious may take extra armor for 10 points. All right, so we're going to find out why this Dreadnought's in the fast attack slot with this Incendious booster pack. The booster pack
Guys, what if we slap a booster pack onto a Dreadnought? And this is what you got.
You got the aliens meme guy, but you got rockets. So basically you're gonna do a Darwin Award and slap a jet booster on the back of a Dreadnought and see what happens.
I just see the Tech Marines like, I don't see anything wrong with this.
It seems legit.
Open up the hangar bay. Fuck, let's go.
It all checks out. All right. So, Incendious Booster Pack may be used once per game in one of two ways. These options are mutually exclusive, and the use of one means the other may not be used in that game. So, first option you have is Deep Strike. Controlling player may choose to use this special rule to set up the Dreadnought in reserve and bring it into play using the Deep Strike special rule. Dreadnought is considered to eject the booster pack via a system of explosive bolts after landing, and it plays no further role in the Dreadnought's operation. So, you get your Deep Strike and Dreadnought without having to pay for a drop pod. Which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and second option, Shock Assault. Controlling player may opt to deploy the Dreadnought as normal. In this case, the use of the booster pack may be declared at the start of any of the controlling player's movement phases, including the first, or during the controlling player's assault phase, but not both. If activated during the movement phase, the booster pack allows the Dreadnought to move up to 12 inches, ignoring all other models and terrain freely. But it's you have to take dangerous terrain tests as normal for using a jetpack unit.
Mm-hmm.
If activated during the assault phase, the booster pack allows the Dreadnought to roll 3d6 to determine its charge range, ignoring all other models and terrain freely. Again, having to check for dangerous terrain if it starts or ends in difficult terrain. In either case, the Dreadnought's considered to eject the booster pack via a system of explosive bolts at the end of whichever phase it was used in and plays no further role in the Dreadnought's operation. So yeah, guys, you got yourself a jump pack Dreadnought. Check that action out.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah,
very unique.
And notice it does not say 3d6 and pick the highest. It is just a flat 3d6 dice for a charge distance.
Yep.
So
you should be
I think
getting
you can,
at least 10 inches on the reg.
yeah, pretty reliably getting like 8 to 10 inch charges off with this guy. And the potential for that sweet 18-inch charge if you're really lucky.
Yeah.
Surprise. Surprise, it's a Dreadnought, 18-inch charge. Here you go. So then...
it just looks like just a fun unit.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, it is quintessentially 30K because it's just so silly. Like, I think anybody in the 40K universe would laugh this off the board, but 30K, we're like, yeah, no, I can see it. I'll allow it.
The Simpsons did it.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So then the Talon of Perdition is basically just your Blade of Perdition, strength user, AP2, melee deathfire, but because it's a Dreadnought weapon, you're hitting it strike 7. So you got strike 7 AP2 deathfire, doubling wounds on stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm running this with the one Talon of Perdition and then a Dreadnought Chain Fist or close combat weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this guy can't take a Chain Fist because it just says close combat weapon. Huh.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah. Yeah, I think I take one of each just so this guy doesn't get tar pitted by another Dreadnought.
Yeah, but a close combat weapon, Dreadnought, that's still just strength user, right? It's not the times 2 like a fist, right?
Oh, I'm not sure. I actually don't know.
I think a Dreadnought close combat weapon is just your standard strength 7.
Ooh. We'll have to check on that.
Yep, I'm going to take... I got the army list right here. I'll take a look real quick. But yeah, if that's the case, then why would you not take Talon of Perditions on both?
Yeah.
Unless it replaces, unless you want those other options for some reason. But yeah, this is totally just a straight up assaulty Dreadnought.
Yeah, this is the Dreadnought where you need a hammer, not a scalpel. This guy's just gonna wreck some faces. Just get in there and tear some shit up. Now let's see here.
Yeah, Chain Fist. Or yeah, close combat weapons with built weapon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a close combat weapon is just your standard strength 7.
Ah, well.
Because you can't get that times 2 strength. So yeah, Talon Perdition is still in. Now granted, so here's the thing. Because a typical close combat weapon can be replaced with the following, like your twin-linked heavy bolters or...
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can't add the special stuff.
Yeah, so I wonder why that would be an option then. Like there has to be a reason why they included that.
Inbuilt.
Huh. I don't know.
Mm.
We will research further and get back to you.
Yeah, I'm probably missing something here, but anyway. But yeah. So yeah.
Anyway. All right, so you want to move on to the Blood Angels special characters?
Yeah, let's do it. So for an HQ slot, we have Judicar Aster Crone. Crone?
Yeah, something like that.
Last officer of the 94th Company, the Shroud Maker, the Ghost of Scythe. He is coming in at 155 points. Weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 5, 3 attack space, leadership 10, and a 2-up armor save. He has artificer armor, obviously, 2 hand flamers, a Siphon shard axe, refractor field for that sweet 4-up invuln. No, refractor field 5-up invuln save, frag, crack, and rad grenades. Blood Angels, special rule, independent character, adamantium will, scout, counterattack, the Ghost of Scythe, virtue of judgment. He can only be taken as part of a loyalist faction army, which I'd be really shocked to see a traitor Blood Angel army, but hey.
I mean, I could buy it.
Yeah.
I could buy it.
Highly unusual, but you do you. So, with the war gear, the Siphon Shard Axe is a strength +1 AP3 melee rending weapon.
Which isn't bad.
No.
Because with that Blood Angel special rule, it means you're going to be wounded most stuff on a 2.
Yeah.
Like any other Marine equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
With rending. So, that's always nice.
Yeah. Like, effectively, it's strength +1 all around for most stuff. Like, mathematically, I guess. I'm sure it's not the same. Someone will tell me it's not the same, and I agree. I'm sure there's some reason why it's not. But anyway, let's see. Other war gear, the Ghost of Scythe. Aster Crone has stood at the brink of death and destruction so many times and emerged from his ordeal unscathed that within the 9th Legion, many consider him to be a charmed or perhaps cursed life. Him to lead a charmed or perhaps cursed life. The first time Aster Crone is reduced to 0 wounds or otherwise removed from play by any effect or attack, roll a d6. On a 4-up, he is placed in ongoing reserves with a single wound remaining instead of being removed or destroyed. If he enters ongoing reserves on or after turn 4, then he may enter play automatically at the start of the controlling player's following turn. That's a pretty cool rule.
Yeah. Yeah, so this guy's basically a destroyer character that, like, consistently comes back as, like, the lone survivor of all of his destroyer hosts, and everybody's like, what's going on with that? I don't know.
But yeah, that's pretty fun, though.
Yeah, having a rule like that in a Legiones Astartes army is pretty fun, because you see that stuff all the time in, like, Militia or Demons or Mechanicum, but you don't really see it super often in Astartes lists, I feel like.
Yeah, anytime you can get people back, that's always a good thing.
Mm.
There's also Virtue of Judgment. The Judicars, like the Mortats of other legions, bring terror and death to the enemy ahead of the main advance of the legion. Sanguinius has long striven to change the role within his legion so that these warriors become agents of judgment, bringing his wrath to those he has chosen for death rather than spreading carnage freely. At the start of the game, after deployment, but before the first turn is declared, roll a d3. Aster Crone's controlling player may select a number of enemy units equal to the number rolled to be marked by the Angel's Wrath. Whenever Crone or a Destroyer's or Angel's Tier unit is used to make a shooting attack against a unit marked with the Angel's Wrath, his hand flamer attacks are made with the Shred and Rending special rules. Pretty interesting, but also pretty situational as well.
Yeah. Now, so I know you guys did your episodes on the Psi Arcana.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you put this guy in a unit of Angel's Tears with hand flamers, and you swap them out for those Toxiferin flamers for free.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like a fun unit to use. I don't know how effective it would be, but certainly Angel's Tears are going to be better with the hand flamers than most because they have the innate jump packs to get around.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a cool character either way.
Yeah. I like him.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
It's always cool.
His artwork is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other special character, like independent character destroyers, which I think there are a few out there.
Yeah, there must be one or two.
Yeah. Not off the top of my head, but always fun. Like, destroyers have now made a huge comeback since the FAQ and special rules, or the test rules, I guess.
Yeah, this is Forge World saying, we want you guys to play more destroyers.
And I will be happy to oblige.
Absolutely.
I've got a 10-man squad on the bench right now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people working on new destroyer units, which makes me very happy.
Mm-hmm. Want to hit up the next one?
I would love to. So we've got Chapter Master Raldoron, first captain of the Blood Angels Legion, Equirita Primarch, Archine of Wisdom. So, fun little side note in the lore section, it talks about how the Blood Angels use the term Archine for their chapter masters or company masters rather than Praetor. And Archine is a word that derives from Aristotle, and it means citizen leader or citizen ruler. So it's a cool little lore tidbit there for you guys. We got Chapter Master Raldoron. Weapon. I think he's got a pretty standard Praetor stat line. Weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 5, 4 attacks, leadership 10, and a 2-up armor save.
So I swapped the weapon skill and the initiative for one, I think.
Oh, okay.
Most Praetors are weapon skill 6, I believe, and initiative 6.
Yeah, which makes sense because this guy's like a peerless swordsman.
Yeah.
Even more so than some other swordsman characters they have out there. Got infantry character, Artificer Armor, the Uncarmine Warblade, Combi Flamer, which is it's neither here nor there. That's pretty cool. Not super useful, but whatever. Bolt Pistol, Iron Halo, Frag and Crack Grenades. This unit may only be taken as part of a Loyalist faction army. Special rules: Legiones Astartes Blood Angels, independent character, Master of the Legion, Furious Charge, and Archine of Wisdom.
Nice.
So Furious Charge is always nice.
Praetors are initiative 5 as well, so he's one weapon skill better than your standard Praetor.
Okay, but with Furious Charge, that means he's hitting on initiative 6 on the charge, right?
Furious Charge, I believe, gives you +1. God. I have approximate knowledge of many of the rules here in the Horus Heresy. 1 second.
Right. Surge Jesse,
Fierce
look
Charge,
up the rules
I
for
thought
us.
that gives you +1 to your weapon skill, or +1 attack. Anyway, continue talking about his stuff, and I'll find out real quick.
Sure. So we've got an Uncarmine Warblade, which is strength user +1, AP 2, melee, mastercrafted, shred, and murderous strike. So it's basically like your normal Paragon blade, except with shred.
Yeah. Furious Charge.
Pretty nice.
In a turn when which a model with this special rule charges into combat, +1 strength until the end of the assault phase. There you go.
Yeah. So he's going to be hitting a strength 6 on the charge. Mm-hmm. That's not too shabby.
Yep. Plus, there's also getting the +1 to wound as well.
Right. So he's going to be wounded on a 2 on anything up to toughness 5.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. And his last special rule, he's got Archine of Wisdom. Raldoron may pick his warlord trait from the Legiones Astartes Army List Warlord Traits table. So this guy's a real solid pick for a Blood Angels army. Like, he's just your Praetor plus a little bit with getting to pick his warlord.
So, with that being said, what would be a good Space Marine Legion warlord trait for this guy?
Oh, I couldn't tell you, man. I haven't played that many games.
Probably Child of Terra. I'm looking at him right now. The warlord and any unit they join with the Legiones Astartes special rule may reroll any failed to wound rolls of 1 in close combat.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, you'd be wounding everything you hit when it comes to Marine equivalents.
Yeah. The only thing that holds this guy back is that he's just a normal infantry model. So he's not going to be getting to go with any of your super awesome jetpack units you've got in this army.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what you would stick him with. I mean, maybe you just stick him with some like Terminators.
Yeah.
I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I mean, what do you normally stick a Predator with? Typically a command squadron. Throw him in a Land Raider.
Sure. Yeah.
Put him with just put him with the Crimson Paladins. Just let him go to work.
That too. Yeah.
Or the Dawnbreakers. There's plenty of stuff you can put him with, especially with the special Dawnbreakers. Well, they don't have. He doesn't have the jump pack like you said, but yeah, maybe Crimson Paladins.
Yeah.
Put him in a Phobos.
Yeah, just some kind of infantry unit, or honestly, just put him in a big old fat like tack squad.
You can never go wrong with the 20-man blob.
Nah. Sit them back on an objective. So we didn't really talk about this with the general like Legionis Astartes rules section, but a really popular option with Blood Angels players is to buy the extra close combat weapon for the tactical Marines.
Oh yeah, that's an auto take for me whenever I bring tacticals.
Yeah, for sure, because you're getting extra value out of that because you're wounding normal Marines on a 3.
Yeah.
So any extra attack you can get is super solid.
Yeah,
and then with him letting you re-roll the 1s with that one Warlord trait, that could be super handy. Be like, go ahead, charge this unit, see what happens.
Increasing the stat for 2 points per model, to me, it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do it.
Especially since it's so good on Blood Angels, wounded on a 3 against other Astartes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
With that being said, Sanguinius is next. Now, we've already had an episode that we went into a pretty decent detail with Sanguinius. It was, I believe it was the episode Sanguinius's Rules and 30k Charity Armies, which I'll put a link into this episode if you want to go and check that out. But we spent a good long time talking about Sanguinius in that one. But now that he has his buddies to tag along with, let's talk about, how effective he is with the rest of the new Blood Angels army.
Yeah. So I think the main point to draw people's attention to now that we kind of have all the rules in front of us is Sire the Blood Angels. So Sanguinius himself gets +1 initiative and attack for the first turn of any combat, whether he charges or is charged. And while he's present on the battlefield, all friendly jump infantry units with Legionis Astartes Blood Angels special rule may choose to use their jump packs in both movement and assault phases, which is just a super good rule.
Yeah.
Just getting that 12-inch movement and Hammer of Wrath on the charge is just fantastic. And then the last bit is being able to bring Dawnbreaker cohorts as troop choices. So I think that's a super cool army to run. Just Sanguinius and a bunch of Dawnbreakers.
Yeah. It's basically his own rite of war.
Yeah, more or less. And those guys with their power spears and the Equinox power cases getting to choose how they want to use their power swords for the turn. I think that's just super cool. Mm-hmm. I will probably, whenever I get my hands on Sanguinius, I don't quite have it yet, but whenever I do get my hands on him and they release those Dawnbreaker models, you can bet your butt I'm gonna be running that army at some point just for giggles. Because you're basically getting that as a rite of war, and you can then take Day of Revelation rite of war on top of that.
Yeah.
Which is super fun.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, have you, because you're a Blood Angels player, have you just really decided what would be your all-comers Blood Angels list at this point?
I'm not really sure, because a lot of the time I play smaller games.
Mm-hmm.
So most of my lists are usually 1,500 points or less.
Yeah.
That being said, my couple of lists I have coming up for Nova, I've got my Zone Mortalis and then my 2 Bromance lists. I think one of my Bromance lists is pretty I would call it a pretty standard all-comers list that I would run.
Mm-hmm.
Some variation thereof most of the time, but I've got I'm running a Day of Revelation, so I've got my Jump Pack Praetor with my 2 assault squads, with 3 Javelin speeders with the assault cannons, and just missile launchers normally.
Gotcha.
With
the more I think about
apothecaries.
It is disappointing that Raldoron doesn't have a jetpack.
Yeah, it seems pretty lame, but at the same time, I think that was Forge World's attempt to not like shoehorn Blood Angels players into only playing jump pack lists.
Good point.
Like, leave something for the non-jetpack users to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still excited to see if they ever release rules for Captain Amit, who is like the original Flesh Terror. Because he crops up in stories all the time.
Yeah.
And I think he might be someone we might see with jump packs. Or certainly if they ever do make Sanguinary Guard and have Azkalan as a special character, that's going to be your jump pack character they might make at some point.
Right.
But yeah, so I think Raldoron was just there for more standard Astartes lists that you might want to run with the Blood Angels.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because you can still beef that normal Praetor up with a jump pack and everything, and more or less get the same character.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, they could have given him the option, like a Praetor,
Yeah.
to take or not. But anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you have any other final takes you want with Sanguinius?
No, just he's a blender Primarch. I know a lot of people talk about wanting to put him against other Primarchs, and I don't think that's what his job is. I think his job is to just tear up anything he gets pointed at.
Yeah. Which he will.
So he absolutely will.
He is a beast.
He is definitely a beast. For sure.
So
yeah, I'm really excited to get his model and get my hands on it and get painting.
Yep. Let's wrap up this episode.
Okay.
And before we end up, does anyone have some plugs? Jake, being a guest here today, got any plugs you want to shout out to?
Sure. So I will pull a will and I will plug myself. Minis by Applesauce. I am on Instagram and I also stream occasionally on Twitch. So twitch.tv/minis by Applesauce, separated by underscores. So there's that. And let's see what else have I got. I had something for this.
Once you remember it, just scream it out.
Yeah, just interrupt whoever's talking and scream it before you forget.
I'll plug jump packs. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Jump packs are pretty sweet. Will, how about yourself?
Go ahead and check out Lancaster Painting. Currently being a little bit more active on there. But yeah, so that's really it. And the podcast itself, dudes. We've been getting some good reviews, and we want to keep it up. Thank you, guys. If there's anything else you would like us to do, don't at me.
Yeah.
Don't at me.
No, don't at Will.
Send in feedback. We love feedback. If you want to hear something in particular, let us know, and we will try to squeeze it into our sessions. Carolyn, got nothing?
No, nothing to plug apart from the Remember Sister Read Instagram.
Yes, the
Posting more and
Instagram.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
All right. Thank you. So again, thank you all so much for listening tonight. And until next time, my name is Jesse, and I'm here with Will, Carol, and Jake. Have a good night and keep those dice rolling.
Bye.